Okay, those are all the things about us and the world in which we currently exist. So much about this year was not on my bingo card. And here we are, and I'm super thrilled to be in this with all of you. No place that I would rather be going through it. With that said, we're going to go into our open mic. I am going to pull names from this very full, spiky bowl, and each of those people will read for three poems. Nope. One poem or 3 minutes, whichever comes first. So if you have, rewritten the works of Shakespeare, just 3 minutes of it. Cool. During this time and really throughout the whole reading, we want to encourage you to self-care. Poetry does induce feelings, or so I've heard. So, if you need to get up and get some water or step out, please feel free to do so. Just do so with respect for the person on the mic. Okay? Deal?
Deal.
Thumbs up from everybody? Oh, that's so corny, and I've never made people do that before. Oh, I love it. Okay, great. First up in our open mic, we have EJ. EJ, here we go.
Hey y'all.
Hey.
I just told my friend that I put my name in, so this is very funny. Okay, this poem does not have a title.
Can you read it to the mic?
Thank you. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I can't hear. We are 2 kids on a 4-wheeler rattling along, whooping and hollering and covered in mud, skinned to bits, maybe bleeding sometimes, bleeding just a little, but alive and soaring, exhilarated, scared, joy like your heart in your mouth and sweet sugar on your tongue. And we don't know exactly what we're doing, and we're not sure exactly how to see it, but every so often, I get to grab your hand in mine, and our sweaty, sticky fingers tangle up together, and anytime, really, anytime, I know, we can pull this thing over, rest our foreheads together, feel our hot, fast, soaring hearts together. Are you okay? Are you okay? I skinned my knee. I skinned your knee. Let's play a little longer? Let's stop and take a nap. Let's be on this grassy hill together and watch the clouds go by. And we can go fast again, and we can go slow again, and we can go inside, anytime, to the home we built together. Thank you.
The home we built together. So many feelings, immediately upon all of this starting. All right, thank you, EJ, for starting us off. Next up, we have Kevin Rooney.
Good evening. How are you doing? Kevin Rooney, it is my privilege to serve as the president of the board for the Chicago Poetry Center. So, thank you to this community. Thanks to all the supporters. The first time I served on a board was for the Chicago Waldorf School for my kids. And there's many parallels, some not parallels, but many parallels between the two communities. And I usually write things just for me, but I got a request from someone serving on the board to write something as that community was struggling between the old ways and opening it up to new people. So I wrote something out of that. So some of it was Waldorf imagery that you might not get, but it's called Winter Storm. Ice clings against the windows, snow pans hang in cubbies trying to dry. Inside, hands move in rhythm, wool through fingers, breath still visible, trying to remember what warms. Outside, the storm continues. We did not create it, not directly. Yet we sense that its fury is directed at us, as if we were indeed that important. It buries the field in silence. We stand in it anyway, searching for the old songs, the ones that told us where to stand and how to stay. We gather close, not from certainty but from cold, hoping the circle will hold, hoping the fire knows our names, rooting ourselves in what can be held, even if it is only for the season, even if everything living must loosen its grip. What anchors us? The weight of soil on seed? What sets us free? The same seed cracking open. The voices of false prophets promise shelter without work, answers without lessons. But the past is a teacher with rough hands. It shelters and it stiffens. Our myths do the same. Our rituals do the same. Joy arrives carrying sorrow. Freedom arrives with responsibility. Love asks to be practiced again and again and again. This is the work of flesh and bone, of mornings and meals, of tending to what is tender until it grows strong enough to stand alone. May we be rooted deep enough to endure and loose enough to grow. May we learn the harsh lesson of winter and the courage it takes to be reborn.
I didn't ask to be brought back to my childhood, but with our first two readers, but it happened anyway. So I guess I have to go call my mom or something. Never a bad idea. All right, who's up next? Alexander Garza. Alexander. Alex is part of the workshop tonight.
Hello. Sorry, I just had this up. There are a couple of lines in Spanish, so hopefully it doesn't throw y'all off too much. This is called Madre. The lilacs spend all morning alive, beauty within chaos. Your hijo, el stranger, the extranjero, hiding behind nation. My holiness can ask my ancestors to remove the stage makeup from our oral history, but 1,000 widowed women scream at patriarchs, "Are you afraid of my uterus?" You came to me, time outward, and all I could do was ask the citizens to love you. But the city was ill, prepared to receive the origins of the body. Abro los ojos a la nieve, and in each letter there is a demon. I was late to the understanding you have to sell yourself while being yourself. I was late to the understanding that you are why I'm here. A phantom follows me, reminding me sometimes the unfinished is finished. Now I remember the why was easier than tending to scorched lilacs. Addiction makes me public property. It wasn't the crack that killed him, it was bathing in the waterfall. Thank you.
Told you. It's a feelings parade. All right. Roy Zoo. Roy. Come on, all the way in the back. Roy was also at the workshop. Also, just like pro tip, if you're interested in coming to the workshop, which happens right before the reading, register early because it super sells out. Administration will open tomorrow morning, so get on it. All right, Roy, come on.
Also, real quick, I want to give a special shout out. I'm very grateful to be here, and for folks who put their names in and aren't going to get a chance to read tonight, I hope you come back again, because I would love to hear your work as well. Thank you so much. So this poem is called Bibliomancy, or Untitled number 66, and it's from an exercise where someone picks a random page in a book, and every other line in the poem is from that random page, whatever that person landed on. So, Bibliomancy. Little door left open. Mice might use the door. They might oil the door with even smaller oil spouts. They were a trouble to my dreams. The way clouds move past the moon, I did not even think it occurred. Little red poppies from the grass or the snow. There was no one else in the street at night, lying in the grass. Autumn is the season for being alone. Candles leading to the moon. Freedom rides on the wing, the plane scorches the air, then takes us into a bank of clouds. New ideas everywhere, dropping rhythms, skip bars, chant cycles, soul, kaboom, music to my ears. For a while I forget who I am, fanged wolf, other eon, dropping back before arcing into air. Calligraphy, time makes this a memory and a myth. The names engender the clans of people who come after. Thanks.
I am not tall. Newsflash, I am not tall. Okay, all right, last, but certainly not least, we have Brianna. Brianna Grace Hammerstein, come on.
So I come from the poetry slam world, and whenever we do anything brand new that nobody's ever heard before, we say new shit.
New shit?
Hey, you know what's up. So new shit.
New shit?
We can do that more time. New shit?
New shit?
There we are. Polite society code switches policy into jargon. Gaslights generations into evolving a language which has forgotten its mother. Translations in the same tongue, words we cannot process like the shame which sits underneath it. This isn't a take or an opinion. It is an observation. Like the rot in your teeth, observing the sucralose it cannot process. We cannot process how many murderers we know. Mistaking alpha and apex, thinking them synonyms. Fuck a thesaurus, grab a dictionary. Heavy enough to be classified for the weapon it surely is. Why else would the Department of Education add it to the banned books list? God save us from a government which knows the weight of the phrase, the pen is mightier than the sword. 8,000 permissible deaths approved with a signature, no ink necessary. The blood is cheaper anyways. Almost as cheap as the cost to house our neighbors. But oh, the policy, there is no such thing as reform in the 21st century. I see certain members of Senate salivate as we starve because we starve. Jowls ready, maw agape heteronyms. Each two or more words that are spelled identically but have different sounds and meanings. Agape, adjective, mouth wide open. Agape, noun, a selfless love, one that keeps being called a foreign object, morality, a foreign policy you refuse to translate and call that your foreign policy. Producing procedures that protect pedophiles, save the conglomerate, not a synonym for Congress, but it might as well be, take a beat with me. We have an entire profession dedicated to the concept of a lobby while refusing to acknowledge its own definition, a large entrance for the public, now reworked into gatekeeping, approving slaughter with a handshake behind closed doors, polite society, reinforcing, refining terror, repackaged as safety. Look at our bounty, ignore the bounty on our neighbors' heads. The doctrine of the content starts with a blind eye. My taxes spoken into drone strikes on bakeries. No flour, no flowers. No mourning, no mornings. No dictionaries left to tell us the difference. Politely leaving us to our own devices.
for everyone remaining in the spiky bowl whose name didn't get called, come back next month. Please, 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 put your name back in. We want to hear your poems. Okay, so we get to move on to the portion of our evening. We get to hear from our two featured readers. Tonight we are going to hear from Jalen Eutsey and Michelle Peñaloza. Applaud for yourselves for being here. Applaud for yourselves for having the good sense to be here to see these two people is the phrase that I was trying to get out of my face. It didn't happen. I'm very excited to hear these two poets share their work with all of you. When I read these poems, they are so invested in the world of things, of objects, of food and family and tables and purses and the contents of purses and broken things and things that have been repaired. But they go so far beyond that. They go so far into those things, right? That they come out on the other side and then come all the way back to us. And suddenly we're changed, right? And we get to look at the world really differently because suddenly it's not just like glasses. They're glasses in the way that Jalen and Michelle talked about them, and so we can see them differently. And they're also so deeply invested in the interconnectedness of all of us, right? The fact that whether it is a question of bloodkin, or whether it's neighbors, or whether it's a stranger you're passing on the street, the incredible, undeniable web of humanity that exists is so present in this work. So I feel like maybe I've never needed their work more than I do this month, so I'm so thrilled and honored to have them here with us tonight. We're going to start by hearing from Jalen. I will read his actual bio. Jalen Eutsey is a writer from Miami, Florida, a recipient of the Wallace Stegner Fellowship from Stanford University. His poems have appeared in Best New Poets, the Yale Review, Poetry Northwest, and the Hopkins Review. His chapbook, Bubblegum Stadium, was published by Button Poetry. Please make many applauses for Jalen Eutsey.
All right. Oh my gosh, I'm screwed up. There we go.
Peak anxiety trying to do this in front of them.
No, I'll just take all your anxiety for you. Okay. Got it?
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here. I've been resting up. Let's see, what do I want to do? I want to set a timer first. So I think we had a little bit of, thank you for your poem. That was really powerful. Thank you. And thank you for everyone else who read, but thank you so much. I think I'm changing the temperature. We had some winter poems. These are poems set in Miami, Florida, where I'm from. Get a little warmer, hopefully. Maybe the metaphor will turn metaphysical somehow.
See that sweatshirt?
All right, so the first poem I'm going to read is titled West Bryan, Florida, which is an unincorporated district where I grew up in Miami. West Bryan, Florida. Bare, bird-chested boys play touch football in the street. Reenact WrestleMania in the fenced-in front yard. When an errant pass rocks a mailbox, the whole block takes off running. After the game that never ends is paused, a swarm of sweaty boys meander to the corner store to buy a pickled egg, a hot sausage. At Galvez and B Seafood, they call the woman working behind the counter Mommy and order conch fritters with French fries. Squeeze lemon juice over the conch, crisscrossing ketchup and mustard over the juice. Here, in this cutout between Hemingway's Key West home and Jenkins' moonlight, gunfire dapples the far-off night. One day, a man in a black Mercedes will inch up alongside and ask, "You working?" "Nah." "You wanna work?" "Nah." Thank you for that wonderful introduction. That was incredibly flattering. Thank you. This poem is titled House Guest. My mother has 2 house guests. Her house guests, 2 children, make a mess of the living room. Make a brimming biome of an oriental red, hand-tufted wool and littered with animals. Minuscule, plush, bean-filled, and breaking. The older child is a sweet, sensitive, clever little nightmare. She is afraid of the dark and worships her father. They talk on the phone for hours. She is bright and deceitful like an orchid mantis. The younger one puts her hand out, opening and closing it whenever she sees food. "Gimme," says the soft palm, the short fingers. "Gimme," says the panting dog, scratching at a dust-brown bowl, hard plastic and empty. My mother has 2 house guests, not unlike plants or bees, never far from sunlight and honey. This one is titled Summer. Some kids lit fireworks in the big tree in the big park, hollowed out the trunk of a state treasure. Some kids, they say, started a mattress fire in the little park, charred the jungle gym. 3 shirtless boys backflip on the narrow balance beam head of a cracked pink wall, painting the space between oak leaves and air with their rich luminescence. This poem is titled To My Caring and Worried Mother. And my grandma, before she passed, dealt with the effects of dementia, and this poem references that. To my caring and worried mother, there are sliced carrots in the shape of a cowbell because I understand great food should sing to you. There's a novel about Alzheimer's and some magic memory pills for grandma. There's an automatic food dispenser so you don't have to feed the dogs anymore. There's a travel bag with a Bible and a plane ticket to Paris. There's a color-coded flowchart describing the best way to carry a conversation with grandma. In the right-hand corner, in fine print, it explains you may have to adopt new tactics on the fly. I caught grandma watching the Hulk in Spanish today. I just flipped to the English version. To my caring and worried mother, raising your voice won't help. There is no cure. All the post-it notes on all the cabinets should say, open with caution, eat with intensity, remember, we love you and will help you find the watch you stuffed in the cookie jar. This one is titled Field Service. I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, and so this is a reference to that activity. Field service. As a boy, I went door to door with my mother and grandmother. At first, I only knocked, played my part as mascot, but later, I did more. My mother, thinner then before 3 knee surgeries, and my grandmother, always wearing her straw hat, they did the talking when I was a boy. My mother, firm and intimidating, greeted every open door with a wide smile and 2 magazines, Watchtower and Awake. I remember the clip-on ties, penny loafers, and small leather briefcase my mother bought so I could look the part. I can't quite remember when I first started to speak at the door, wave my hand at the homeowners. We bring you good news, I must have said. This one is titled Snuff, which is a term for smokeless tobacco. My dad chewed tobacco, still does. Snuff. My daddy packed a pinch of Skull Mint, sexier than most things I've seen women do. Once he offered me in my adolescent tongue a taste out of some old school parochial sense of education. Let the rod of experience thunder loud and profound where the lips might only whisper unintentional invitations. Like the clued-in June bug I heard alarm bells blaring behind my eyes, blind with admiration. I decided simply to watch and marvel at the way my daddy carried himself with so much swagger. The way he kept a Diet Pepsi bottle in his back pocket stuffed with paper towels and dip spit, as cool as the coldest mink on the coat rack. I settled for a different red and black map of invitation, a can of Jack Link's beef chew, fattened my lip with the finely ground meat and juice, slipped the faux snuff into the back pocket of my baseball pants with scandalous intent, as if it was the plastic foil O of a condom wrapper. Leaning into my little secret, the lead up to my big joke, my wry smile and reveal. My daddy's vice as beautiful as a well-made blade, the astringent mint making Jean's nicotine sing, setting the gums ablaze. He quit and unquit, and I learned what you can and can't make of a man. But one day, on the red clay of Black Miami, where the diamonds go mostly unused, I got bit by a wasp while fielding ground balls. My father took the wet contents of his bottom lip and pressed it to the bite, stemming the pain and swelling. I got to return to one of baseball's cherished rhythmic routines: catch, step, and pitch it to first. Well, shout out to y'all for laughing. So I feel like I'm kind of funny in the poems, but sometimes they're sad at the same time, and people are like, we can't laugh. So shout out to y'all. I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to read this one. This one is titled "Surprise Visit." Mangoes ripening in a wicker basket, tough and green. You could skin them and eat them with salt. In the oven, the softening flesh of salmon, waiting to be pulled out and served with yellow grits and butter. My mother was away when two visitors came knocking. What I can describe is the powder blue chalk outlined hopscotch box, beginning with your first step off the fading beige front porch so that you could jump or drop into play the way you might slip into a riff of your granddaddy's country twang and wisdom. What I can describe is the flaking floral porch column and brown coir welcome mat, rough to the touch of bare feet, or, if by some cruelty, the sensitive skin of the cheek. My cousin lived in the fenced-in house across the street before he slept on our couch. His mother lived next door in a seaweed green duplex with a small backyard and a metal line used to air dry damp clothes. She was alive when the visitors came, or she wasn't. All I have is one good shoulder, two good feet, and memory. The elementary school field trip where I eased out to the bathroom, then quenched my thirst at the water cooler, while the other kids cheesed and marveled at the fingerprinting process. I think they used black ink, black like these visitors' uniforms. I tell these men the man they seek never lived here, has left no valuables or products, no secrets but the mystery of his brief life. When they demand a more senior presence, my grandmother cracks the door a little wider and speaks with the detachment of a disembodied voice. We do not speak to the dead, it's against our beliefs. We do not trifle with ghosts, even ones we birthed. So I'm running out of time, and I wanted to read a couple newer poems. So.
Hell yeah.
So I was in Paris for 3 months this summer. So These last two poems were written while I was there. This one is titled Dream Journal, and it has a dedication for Romar Bearden. Ashbury was present in my dream last night and comforted me in his way, though his actual words lacked any immediate comfort. I asked if he thought I could slip through a small slit in the architecture, and he said, I should think so, and held my hand as I made the attempt. I can't recall if this slit was more akin to the sliver of sky beneath loose shingles, orange, curved, and prone to flying off in storms, or the rectangular, sometimes oval gaps within railings at the edge of public or private steps. Nevertheless, I made my escape. Thinking about it now, it's clear such an action lacked any relationship to reality. I had slipped through the curvature the way a fish might pass through a small opening in a child's rock wall in a low creek. But I have a neck, torso, and limbs. My African mask wormed its way through, and what a difference it made among the populace. So this will be my last one. It's titled Sans Papier, which is a term for paperless in French, and it's after an artist, Bouba Touré, who was supposed to be an artist in residence at the Cité Internationale where I was in residence, but he passed away before he could finish or to do the residency. And he documented the paperless movement in France and the migrant workers movement from the continent of Africa. And so I was inspired by his video and photography work there. And I just sort of started jotting stuff down, and it became this piece. It has a bit of French in here, blood, song in French, and mentions millefeuille, which is the pastry. I think that's mostly it. Sans papier. Absent a bureaucratic stamp, does your skin not burn and blister in the climatide's sun? Are you not tormented by the vicissitudes of democratic winds, the undying rot at the heart of humanism? As poets, are you not haunted by the unrealized metaphor? As kin of the church, are you not ground upon by the good book? As breathing figures in a land of carelessly controlled air, are you not subject to disease, death? Is your fate not the fate of the world? Sans papier, full of song and water. As joyous men and women of fashion, are you not bringing back the briefcase, bell bottoms? The fitted cap persists. As sensitive members of civilization, do you not slip into prescribed roles, presumed allotments of firmness and softness, the gendered houses of logic and emotion? Heartbreak assaults us all, the way salt and wind wreck the skin. There are those who believe you have the wrong blood, a false water. Living now in the Enfant Rouge district, living in the shadow of a bombed church in Alabama, a bombed home in Philadelphia, living under the thumb of the state, are there not remnants of history in these fresh assaults on dignity? The millefeuille of humanity, a myth? Have you not rendered your neighbors pieds noirs? Fugitive night, it seems you can transfer this blessing of black. Have you not perverted a classic into jazz with the brass of your sax? Have you not erred in air and made beautiful amends before alighting to earth, twisting and kissing tiny orange grooves off the top corner of glass, framing the red halo of rim? Why he did that, a boy wonders, awestruck, horrified. Police dogs already salivating at both ends of the bleachers. As poets, painters, and theorists, as tender gardeners of daily delights, as all who live artistically, are you not the fifth line on the frame of history? Maybe you're partial to the dot, to the drip or drag of color, screaming freedom into the sea with your first breath on this bitter earth, damning all the evil done in the name of progress, civilizing, or faulty claims of self-defense. Sans papier, What does it even mean? The trees recognize your sting of tears. To collage is to nod to a broken story, maybe. Place your eyes on my tongue. There are many mouths in my throat. Man made these mixed up continents. Why complain now?
Collective exhale. I don't know about you, I like held my breath for like that entire last poem. So breathe in, breathe out. All right. Next up, we are going to have Michelle Peñaloza. This is not a mistake, don't panic. This is on purpose, okay? You're in for something special. All right. Michelle Peñaloza is the author of All the Words I Can Remember Are Poems, winner of the 2024 Lexi Rudnitsky's Editor's Choice Award and the James Laughlin Award from the Academy of American Poets, published by Percy Books 2025. Her debut, Former Possessions of the Spanish Empire, won the 2018 Hilary Govendic National Poetry Prize. The proud daughter of Filipino immigrants, Michelle was born in the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan, and raised in Nashville, Tennessee. She now lives in Covelo, California. Oh, it worked. Good job, Renna. Everybody, applause for Renna. So many things, lifting so many chairs, and making the slideshow work. Okay. Many applauses to bring Michelle Peñaloza and the slideshow to the stage. Woo!
Thank you so much. Sorry, let me do this thing. I'm shorter. I'm doing it the wrong way.
Doing so good.
Oh God. Oh yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you so much. Can you help me? I'm so sorry.
Righty tighty, lefty loosey.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should know that. That's pretty universal, righty tighty, lefty loosey. And yet, all your eyes on me made me very nervous. So we're here now. Thank you so much for being here. All the open mic readers and Jalen, that was so beautiful. Yeah, I'm like, oh shit, I have to read now. Okay. Okay, collective deep breath. Whew, okay, so I brought a visual aid. Thank you, Chicago Poetry Center, for making that happen. This is my Lola, so like my grandmother, and a grandma poem. When I hearing yours, I was like, oh, they're here.
Yay.
And so I'll just begin with a poem entitled Inside My Lola's Handbag. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Inside my Lola's handbag, a sandwich bag of chicken bones, a sandwich bag of tissues used, a palm-sized Santo Niño, Louis XIV Sun King, sky-flake crumbs and dust in his plastic hair, Werther's original wrappers, a sandwich bag of sandwich bags. She would love that. I mean, I think about too how she I'm bringing her everywhere with me, and how she would love that too. She's also the cover girl of my book. Part of what I have in the book is collages, so it's my poetry and my visual art. And I pull from Family Archive, and then also I'll talk more about the other archive I pull from, but my Lola had a really challenging life. She gave birth to 12 children. She was pregnant with many more. And so I really particularly, I think about, I try to reimagine her if she had had more choices. And so this one with the little suitcase, it's hard to read from there, but the little cardboard box says, I quit. Not that she didn't love us, but choices, Okay, so I'll read the next one. Hanggang sa muli. We see our dead everywhere. A butterfly, a bat. Lola? Dad? Is that you? Just today, I saw my father in the long finger of an okra, overgrown past peak deliciousness. It waggled at me. Knuckle, not even good for deep frying, and reminded, tingnan mo. Always look close at your garden, at your hands, at the layers of dust and corner cobwebs gathered in the spaces you pass each day. There, I am here, always beside you, always swirling around you, inside you, only one breath away. So I think this is true across many cultures, but in Filipino culture, if you see a winged thing that is around you, it is someone that you love that has passed. There's a really great meme, the anime character that's holding its hand out. Okay, I love when people know what I'm talking about. And then it just says so he's reaching out and it's Dad? And then underneath it's Filipinos. Okay, so the other part of the archive that I pull from, not familial, but in some ways familial, is the archive of the US colonization of the Philippines. And there's lots of photographic evidence and propaganda of that time because the technology of photography was happening as the technology of empire building and colonization was also, they were going really hand in hand. And so there's a genre of, there's multiple genres of the propaganda, look at these peoples whom we must civilize, look at how uncivilized and savage they are, of course, and then a kind of photography that I was particularly interested in is this, which is a stereograph, which you would put into a stereoscope, and then your eyes would create the effect, so your body is part of the technology, bringing those two images together to create sort of a early 3D. So in looking at this archive, one of the things that I was always struck by is the difference in image and the difference in caption. The sort of the colonizers' captions and then what's actually happening in the image. So this particular image, the title is here. After a typhoon, wherever the roof lands, there the Filipino makes his home. Which is supposed to be shitty, right? It's supposed to be shady and condescending, etc. But actually, is that not ingenious?
Yes.
AF, right? Okay. So anyway, I created this form, a stereograph poem, and you can read it. And it looks so nice and projected. Thank you so much. But I really, so you can read it across and up and down like a newspaper. And so I read them differently every time I read them because your eyes move differently every time you look at anything or look through a stereoscope. So I don't know how it will go. It'll be different. It's different every time. So here we go. We're doing it together. Stereograph. After a typhoon, wherever the roof lands, there the Filipino makes his home, 1912. All they can see through their little boxes, home, removed twice. Indio, Filipino, know-how, how to build many homes, double, double. Any fool knows a roof intact is no miracle, but a blessing of bubong, silid, silong, a music in the design. What do they know of God's eye? Blinks of mercy between rain, of this land always provides kawayan, bayanihan. These Kano know nothing about kabaybayan, nor any true need to recreate. We know you don't pour foundations in cement, but in the many again and again and again and again, and arms come together to move a house, a choice. We know the importance of know-how, how to build many homes not your own, how to ask for nothing. Bubong, silid, silong, a music in the common sense of our homes. We know this land always provides kawayan, nipa, kahoy, dahon, what we need to rebuild again and 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 again. So this is the collage that goes with that poem in the book. Okay, I'll read another. Seriograph 24045, American soldiers feeding Filipino children. Pale men turn more and more red, poor ripening, a prize of unknown consequence, contests losing their ideals. They are better. They kill our parents, pen us like piglets, starving in open lack, perfect photo opportunities, little and probable brown graphs, low progress, mores doled, old bouts of power born from ghost hands' appetite for glory. Look there, humanitarian! They think we will not bite. How wrong. Brown mouths hungry will grow up into scouts, great loud cogs, men and women spouting lingua franca, gratitude, whitening, brightening, as bettering as what's best. Ha! Free from weak blistered skin, we hold our dark truths. They know not one true thing of our ripening, a prize of unknown consequence. Their sport, which child hungers most? Starving in open lack, perfect photographs, low progress, mores doled, old feeding, roved emptiness, empty promise, empire's feed of benevolent assimilation. Primacy, a dumb lie under our powerful crossing. These stupid lines, dirt pens whose contents will fatten, spatter so pleasing, so salamat po. They don't know how well we know to grow candor in the dark. Downcast our eyes, bundok, dugo, ngipin, dilim, our fresh gums, our red teeth. So this is the seriograph that inspired that poem. So it's like, yeah, I mean the images sort of speak for themselves. Okay. You know, I'm looking at, if you want to read this one, you just buy the book. Preview. So I want to read other poems too, but I just wanted to also show this, a sort of another genre of the photography was like dead Filipino bodies in landscape, essentially. And so, how to address that and share that with people without reifying violence. And so one way I found was through collage. And if people can't read the caption, it says dead Filipino on battlefield near Malabon, Philippine Islands. Okay, and now for something totally different. How are y'all doing while I find this? Everyone okay? Okay. All right, I will read the title poem from the book. All the words I can remember are poems. Anak, like a sigh born every day. Ilong, led by sense and know-how. Tanong, asking questions about the world. Sayaw, like how dance that comes from joy. Sayang, can sway so close to sorrow. Bayan, how shame could be an entire country. Pinto, or an open-doored question. Kailangan, needing, needful, and needless. Ilaw, illuminating a path. Ikaw, to you, little bit of me, almost. Dito, will you appear here? Doon, are you still there? Maybe dahon. I hear you in the leaves. Darating, rippling in the wind, always arriving. Okay, a very short one. Barangay. We've met We rowed a long canoe from one end of horizon to another. Read that one already. Okay. How to not forget. Sweep. First with walis ting ting, then with walis tambo. Thank the dust and dirt for giving you a moment of purpose. Brew a strong cup of coffee. Put a glass bottle of Coke in the fridge. Roll and smoke a joint. Put on Pilita, the one with the tattered cover, Pilita in a white terno, her eyes heavy with black liner, her hair a high bouffant. Admire how she rides an impressive kalabaw in front of a sad bahay kubo. Lay on the floor and say aloud the words you can translate in real time. Ganda, lungkot, kahirapan, puso, buhay, ginto. Listen to your stomach. Kumain ka ba? Crave a chili cheese hot dog. Curse being so far from a Coney Island or a Sonic. Remember the pork belly you bought from Costco. Slice and saute it with a knob of ginger, a whole bulb of garlic, and a fistful of sili. Bagong to taste. Coconut milk. Simmer. Pour it all over a clean bed of steaming calrose. Eat until your heart feels less empty. Cry. Don't cry. All your ghosts get it. They miss you too. Take that cold Coke out of the fridge. Hold the glass to your third eye. Try to remember that story about Francis Ford Coppola bringing a truck of Coca-Cola for the whole barangay, everyone an extra in the zenith of his opus, an imperialist remix of an imperialist text paid in sugar and caffeine. Didn't the dictator let the director borrow a fleet of helicopters? Think about the rhyme of flame and fame. Think of that poet who left cans of Coke and notes that began, is even more fun than going to San Sebastian. Shrug to your ghosts. What? You never slept with him. Enjoy your burn of bubbles. Burp. Recall all the ghosts you carry in your body. Gather all the mirrors in your home. A piece of broken capis. The calamansi juice, pandan leaves, and banana leaves solidified in your freezer. You can't get fresh, but you can get frozen 2 hours from where you live. Wrap yourself in the hot pink malong you bought in Quiapo and memorize a menu comprised of at least 12 desserts. Light all the purple candles in the house. Make promises. Sabihin mo lahat dito sa Tagalog. Sabihin mo laging malungkot ka, pagkatapos sabihin mo hindi laging totoo yan. Sabihin mo kailangan pa kita. Sabihin mo marami ka pang gagawin. Sabihin mo hindi mo alam kung tama to. And hope that your ghosts forgive you for your clunky tongue, for all you keep trying to remember. Okay, I think 2-poem warning is where we're at. Okay, so just 2 more poems. This one is called Utang na Loob. It is the last day of the year, and I am resolved to write you that poem I owe you. The one we said we write for the other the last time we met, well before the before times, in the town where they filmed Murder, She Wrote. We walked through succulent gardens, heath, heather, rhododendron, and dahlia, all prospering in July heat, to reach a room carved into the side of a cliff. Inside, a gray whale hip replica, a window overlooking an ocean crevasse, and a scrappy display of various lichen, a catalog of their names barely readable beneath cloudy glass. Poets, we began to read them aloud. Blistered navel, fire dot, giant shield, reindeer, witch's hair. Such delight in taxonomy. For years we've taken turns remembering, I still owe you that lichen poem. Doesn't that prompt feel so long ago? Finding delight, writing poems, lately as hard as the consensus of what we all owe one another. Last week, I hosted a second year of Christmas Zoom. My cousin's kid quarantined in a separate square, while my other cousin said everyone should just try to get it and spread it so that we can all get back to normal. To which my cousin, whose son had been alone in the basement for 10 days, waved his 2 middle fingers at the camera and disappeared from the frame. And I laughed because of all the wine I drank to be on that call and said, "Merry Christmas, everyone!" Every day, I think about Gaia and Jed, their Zoom memorials coordinated across time in Manila, Nashville, LA, and Honolulu. How my ates would be absolutely alive had they the medicine that half the people in this country refuse. How 6 million people across the world are dead. Still, I owe you a poem about lichens. They seem like single organisms, but really are two. A fungus, an alga, layered and inseparable. Whether their relationship is mutualistic or parasitic, scientists disagree. Whatever side you're on, it's true that lichens absorb everything in their environment into their structure. You are where you are. The last time I saw you, I met your sons. We walked along the rocky shore that met the ocean and regarded with care all the life we saw. Your sons naming, mussel, limpet, anemone, starfish, barnacle, all crammed in their cold water, all waiting for the tide to come in. Okay, final poem. So this poem, usually like with the Tagalog words, I don't translate them because it's like, you can look it up. And if you know, and that's, yeah. But this one I will, the title is Ingat, and just to give a little context, the word Ingat, like in my family, and I think for other Filipino families where folks speak Tagalog, it's like what people always say when you're like saying goodbye. Like, okay, sige, ingat. Like my mom, she's a very anxious person. It means like take care. And it's like, it's filled with all like the love and worry she has in her body every time she says it. So it's like, when you say hello, kumain ka ba, have you eaten? And when you say goodbye, take care, take care. But also, I wanted to share something that, just given, where we are, like Marty's announcements, it's like, I wanted to share a quote from a Filipina activist and writer, Ninochka Rosca, who talks about the context of the word ingat during martial law in the first Marcos regime in the Philippines. So she describes the significance of ingat as, quote, the last word uttered between and among those meeting to discuss what had to be done, in ways big and small, to end the Marcos dictatorship. It was said with all the love and respect one was capable of, because chances were one would meet again only in a prison cell, or a torture house, or at a wake. Ingat. I want to give you a world where knives have no place, save for the mincing of ginger and garlic. A world where those roots, those bulbs, are talismans we eat in order for our blood to be strong. Today I offer you the scream I gave to my pillow, the graying of my mother's hair, which she gave to me through my phone, the bread that my friend made and delivered, which smelled like her home. I offer you the blooming steam of my rice cooker, the bath I've drawn and littered with salt and kernels of lavender. May the warm water hold you the way a hug might, if I could climb across time to give it to you.
Talking to myself, okay, I'm pulling together. One more round of applause for Jalen and Michelle. Michelle, I'm assuming you have some of those books for sale. Jalen?
I do not, sorry.
Jalen doesn't have books, which means that you just have to go up and tell him he's awesome, okay? He will accept compliments in lieu of book purchases. Yes. All right, I'm gonna do this thing. Oh, okay, it's going up. Okay. Fantastic. So, Michelle, I'm so discombobulated by the incredibleness of tonight. Discombobulated is also one of the words offered up in workshop warm-up. Yes, exactly. So there we are. Michelle will have books for sale in the back. Jalen is available for compliments. I'm just saying that he is. I mean, whether he is or not, I'm bad with dating him. You're gonna have to tonight. Wine, beer, water, etc. for sale in the back. Please, feel free to hang out, chat, move through your introversion to talk to other human beings who are in the same space, aiming towards the same thing. Big thanks to the Chicago Poetry Center staff for making all this possible. Enormous thanks to our interpreter, Gabby. Enjoy the evening. Make it a poetry friend. We'll see you next month. Okay?
Thank you.